In the summer of 2025, a massive tanker loaded with Canadian liquefied natural gas left Kitimat, British Columbia, bound for Asia. This wasn't just another shipment, it was Canada's first direct LNG export to Asia, marking a dramatic shift in global energy flows. For decades, Canada's energy went almost entirely to the US, but this ship carved a new path to the east. The $40 billion project behind it signaled Canada's intent to compete, not just supply. Suddenly, the US monopoly on North American energy exports was challenged. The route from Kitimat to Tokyo is shorter and cheaper than from the US Gulf Coast, giving Canada a strategic edge. This was more than business, it was a declaration of independence. Canada was now a direct competitor, not just a junior partner. Years of planning, construction and political will led to this moment. The world took notice as Canada built an energy corridor to reduce its reliance on the US. The global energy map was being redrawn, and the balance of power was shifting. The journey of that one ship signaled a new era of competition and uncertainty. For decades, the US dominated North American energy, with Canada supplying nearly all its exports southward. America's control over pipelines and exports gave it global influence and economic strength. The shale boom only reinforced this dominance, making US LNG a global force. But Canada's dependence on a single customer left it vulnerable to US politics and pipeline delays. Canadian leaders saw opportunity in Asia's booming energy demand. They envisioned new pipelines and terminals to reach global markets. Not just the USvsCanada stopped waiting for American approval and started building its own future. This was about more than business. It was about changing the power dynamic. As Canada's West Coast LNG facilities came online, America's energy crown began to slip. The comfortable status quo was over. A new North American energy rivalry had begun. Canada was no longer content to play second fiddle. At the heart of Canada's strategy is the $40 billion LNG Canada project in Kitimat. This state-of-the-art facility chills natural gas for export, but it's only part of the story. The 670-kilometer coastal gas-link pipeline now connects Canada's interior gas fields to the Pacific. For generations, energy flowed north to south. Now it moves east to west, straight to Asia. Leaders like Carney saw this as a nation-building project akin to the Transcontinental Railway. Canada moved quickly, securing global partners and agreements with First Nations. While US projects stalled in politics, Canada pushed forward. The result, a new economic engine, giving Canada direct access to Asia's fastest-growing markets. Canada can now set its own prices and negotiate its own deals, bypassing the US middleman. This infrastructure unlocks Canada's gas reserves and boosts its geopolitical influence. The new energy artery is transforming Canada's role on the world stage. It's a masterstroke of strategy and ambition. Washington noticed Canada's LNG breakthrough and reacted fast. The US threatened a 10% tariff on Canadian energy, a clear sign of anxiety over new competition. At the same time, American soybean shipments to Asia were rejected, while Canada signed billion-dollar trade deals with those same buyers. The global trade map was shifting in real time. America's dominance relied on controlling routes and relationships, but Canada's Pacific route broke that monopoly. Asian buyers now had options, playing US and Canadian suppliers against each other. The US grip on export markets was slipping. Trade threats and real-world losses exposed America's vulnerability. The country that once wrote the rules was suddenly on the defensive. Canada's move didn't just open new markets, it exposed the fragility of US economic power. The era of unchallenged American leadership was ending. A new, more competitive order was taking shape. This energy rivalry isn't just for politicians, it affects us all. More competition could mean lower or more stable gas prices, but also more volatility tied to global events. Canada's LNG boom is creating thousands of jobs and prosperity in the West. In the US, energy workers and farmers face new pressures as export markets shift. The economic map of North America is being redrawn. Canada's direct access to Asia boosts its global influence and reduces dependence on the US. America must now work harder to maintain its alliances and economic clout. The world is becoming more multipolar with new centers of power emerging. Canada's bold move is both a masterstroke and a gamble, securing its future but risking volatility and tension with its biggest ally. The flow of energy and the balance of power are changing fast. Understanding this shift is crucial. It will shape our prices, our jobs, and our future.